To the readers of Scifiworld, hi, I'm Karyn Kusama, the director of The Invitation.
And I'm Phil Hayes, co-writer of The Invitation.
We saw your film in Neuchâtel, very excited about it.
Thanks.
And the film get the Critics Award 2 months ago in July in Neuchâtel. What do you think about privilege? I think well deserved, I know for sure. But what was your first impression about that?
About winning the award at Neuchâtel, it was a very, it was a great validation for us because it's one of the first festivals that screened the film, and to screen at a great European festival and have that kind of feedback was just a very, it was thrilling for us. It was great.
And also I think it's important for us to know that the film is sort of working at the more kind of serious level that we were making the film. I mean, we always knew that we felt we were making a serious movie about serious issues, and so the Critics' Prize helped us sort of feel like maybe everyone sees the same movie.
Maybe we're communicating.
Maybe we're actually communicating the movie. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. You once say, if you want to tell anybody something about the film, please don't do that. Use the same thing with the Psycho film. Don't anything.
Yes.
Just got to see
Just
the
go
film.
see it.
What we can tell about the invitation without any spoil, to spoil anything. That is because it was a problem to me to
yes,
write
I
and
understand.
don't tell anything, no?
Yes. I mean, I think the film is a very engaging drama about a community of friends who have to sort of confront time passing and all the joys and tragedies in their life. And I hope that for the audience watching the film, they're satisfied that the film also creates a lot of mystery and then delivers something quite cathartic and emotional.
Emotional. And do you think that you have a question about?
Yeah, I would like to know how did you develop the idea of the movie and where the idea came from?
Well, my partner Matt and I think originally it came from personal feelings about, all three of us as a kind of filmmaking team have our own relationships with our own past and grief. It came from a desire to explore grief and what it can do to you and how it can be a very formative part of your life, and it can be a very devastating experience to go through. And so there was that kind of emotional core, and then there was also kind of a story level. We wondered, I think that the thing that got us started was the idea that what it would feel like to know someone extremely well and love someone, have them leave your life, and then when they come back they're a completely different person. That would be the most alienating and disturbing feeling. And so that sort of like, that's a feeling that kind of animated the whole creation of the screenplay, and then went through the production as well.
So the science, the EST thing came after that. It was after you developed the idea. First, it was a story about grief, and later you
Introduce the cult idea.
I think it was a vehicle. I think it kind of happened at the same time. I think that was our emotional way into the story, but I think right away, I think that we knew not to spoil anything. It's a type of movie where the last shot tells you something that you haven't known before. We knew what that was from the very beginning.
Yeah.
We knew that that's where we were headed, so it was all wrapped up. But so we did want to get involved. We realized that we wanted to tell a story too that was about cults and movements and the way people try to control each other. So that all did go together at the same time.
Do you live in LA? Because I was in LA and
Scientology.
It was everywhere.
Yes.
Churches, bookstores.
Oh, yeah.
This not happens here. It was very frightening for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just one of many movements
Yeah.
in California, in the West, which I think attracts sort of spiritual searchers, and also attracts sort of lost people. And so I think it's, in fact, when we were making the movie, it wasn't actually really a focus. Scientology was not really a focus.
Yeah,
We were thinking about other movements that have come through California, whether it's Charles Manson or Jim Jones or
California seems to be a conduit for a lot of these things that are.
Yes.
But and I think that's part of like that Los Angeles is that there's seekers, people looking for a new way and a new culturally a new kind of
a solution, and that can be very positive. And also our movie is about how any belief system can be twisted, and that's how a lot of times people get hurt, is that there's giving up control to a certain belief system.
Actually, I feel that sensation of there is almost all the spectrum of humanity, all kind of personality and persons. But in the case of the sects, there is always a commune is always money.
Yes.
Only a desperation. A desperation of the money, and they make a bond or try to. Why always that sad combination of money and desperation? Most of the cases for a loss, no? In this case, but is this kind of things all in all the sects that you know in LA? The money and the desperation.
I don't know if money is always the goal. I think it's power. Wanting to control people, to control people's experience, and also making big promises that maybe you really believe you can keep.
I think that one of the things that we talked about with our movie is that one of the things that seems true to me about grief is that it makes a person very vulnerable. And so when we created this idea about a cult that is about centered on grief and about denying pain and somehow making it all go away, that preying on people who are emotionally vulnerable is the danger of any group, whatever you call it. And in this case, in this movie, it's actually, to speak to the money thing, in our movie, the group is a lot of them are very wealthy, and they're very have succeeded in one way in their life, but they're
quite desperate
searching
in
for
another
something
way.
else.
I mean, remember that part of they are always. Oh, that kind of wine is tasty, the best.
Yeah.
So that's charm. Who have
Yes,
the
it's
money
about
with
status.
the power of the money, of course.
Yes,
no?
yes. Status and social class.
It's some kind of hook to attract this kind of.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's a shame because it's the way who works all these kind of sects and communities, no? I think.
Yeah.
It's curious because I remember one movie when I was watching you that is more genre. It's The Howling by Joe Dante.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
Great
John
movie.
Sayles.
Yes, I love that movie.
Who has a California
est
kind
cult
of
in there, yes.
AST group that are werewolves, no?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a great movie.
But one director that it came to mind when I was seeing the movie was Polanski, because of the.
Thank you.
That's quite a compliment.
Yeah, because of the main character who you don't know
If they're stable or
yeah
not.
like
Yeah.
in Rosemary's Baby.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think that was always a very important film for us. just because it's one of the greatest films of all time, but also because it demands a sort of terrible empathy with the main character. And so even if Rosemary sort of drives you a little crazy, you care about what's going to happen to her. And we always knew with Will that we wanted him to be quite vulnerable and quite shaken by the experience of returning to this house. And I hope we've succeeded in giving the audience some access to that vulnerability, because that's the most human
and also
human feeling we can have.
Another movie that really influences is Repulsion in many ways, and so
Yes.
that's that was always part of this journey was that we would be very identified with Will, but we have to question throughout most of the movie what is his perspective and can we trust it?
Yeah.
It is the group of friends is quite a various a bunch of people, no? But of course, to me, one of the main characters of the film is LA and the house.
Yes,
no?
yes.
Because of we saw that. Try to not spoil anything. We saw in one particular time that they are not the only ones.
Yes,
They are, but it's all the same places with the same gardens, with the same houses, with the same candles, that kind of thing. No, this means that you are trying, perhaps. I want to know more. What's happening next? There will be more. That's the question.
I mean, I think when you wrote the film, you were thinking about a culture of denial, or like that's part of what's scary is, you know,
well,
it's like
that these ideas can, I mean, something that someone observed that saw the movie at South by Southwest, the journalist, that I thought was a really smart observation was that we're trying to make a movie about how bad ideas can be like viruses,
like contagious,
and can be contagious, and that they can, these like kind of terrible concepts can suddenly get spread and get out of control
and seem normal
all of a sudden, and that's how
It's happening.
Yeah, I think it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I can think a few, quite a few.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Sadly, we have no more
One
time.
more?
But
One more?
okay.
Yeah. For you,
Yep.
how it was to return to a kind of
Smaller
a
filmmaking.
small, yeah.
It's great.
do you think in return to studio pictures or?
You know, for me, I'm very grateful for the studio experiences I've had. I've learned a lot from them, and it's very interesting to work with a lot of resources, but I prefer the smaller, more intimate sort of filmmaking system. One, because we can keep it in the family and we can kind of work as a team creatively, but also because for me, we can best preserve the spirit of the script and of the story and of the film itself finally. And I'd like to be making films with more authorial control as a director, which allows me, I think, all of us,
all of us too. We think we are very grateful.
Thank you.
Kind of movie.
Thank you so much.
That's it, sorry, but
Thank you.